before we jump into the video, just want to say a thank you to my guest subscribers. We've just gone over the 100 subscriber marker, which is goal number one. Next goal, I suppose, is about 500 and 1,000, and see where things go from there. But for now, I'm just appreciative of everyone who's subscribed. We have been doing this, I think, since mid-November. Not a huge deal to most people. For me, it's just good progress, I suppose. So I appreciate everyone who's subscribed. Might do some sort of a giveaway now that we've reached that 100 subscriber marker. Not really sure. I'll have to have a little think and maybe announce it on the next video and go from there. But the main thing is, thanks again for subscribing. Appreciate each and every one of you. So without boring you to death, let's jump into the video. What's up, guys? Welcome back to, I think this is episode 3 of the MR2 K20 Turbo build that we are currently undertaking. Again, same as the last video, if you haven't watched the last two, that covers obviously the first couple of bits of the first couple of stages of the build, then obviously go ahead and check them out. This will make more sense, but obviously if you already have, then continue watching. Where did we leave off last time? I think we got everything underneath done, suspension done. Yeah, that's it. So I've done a few things in the background just to kind of get a little bit ahead for this video, because essentially, I mean, who wants to see cutting, grinding and making brackets and stuff? Anyway, let's move on. So let's come around here. Right, in the meantime, I've wrapped the manifold, fitted up the wastegate, and kind of obviously just loosely fitted the turbo on there as well. Right, cut the hole out for the intercooler in the boot. Didn't want to cut the whole thing out, just wanted to cut out essentially where the intercooler core would be, and obviously I'm going to make brackets for it to mount to and sit on there. I need to actually do a little bit of welding on the intercooler for some weld on bosses, so we can obviously bolt to the intercooler, but essentially that's where the intercooler is going to go, in the back and through. Let's go around this side, it'll make more sense. Well, the wastegate will essentially go through there, and so will the exhaust, and they will both end up coming out of here. And the intercooler pipe, again, it will probably more than likely just go straight 90 degrees in there, and then across to the intercooler, I guess, on the other side, and then this outlet of the intercooler will come through here and into the throttle body. If you watched the last video, you would have noticed that there was no shifter cables fitted. So in the meantime, I have gone ahead and fitted the shifter cables and the shifter. This is what it looks like inside. So this is where we are. I haven't fitted everything back on because there's some wires here that are fuel pump related, so I need to obviously extend them and send it through, and power cables and stuff will also be running underneath these trims. But this is kind of pretty much how it's going to sit in the car. Let me jump in real quick. Ooh. Yeah, this is all mounted, all done, everything trimmed. Honestly, if you want it to look kind of neat, this is as neat as I could make it. The plastic trim that sits on the front here, I am going to trim that as well, so it covers up all of these metal sort of brackets once everything's fitted in. So once that's done, you will see what that looks like, but that's all in there and mounted up firmly. So that's done. And the fuel tank is also mounted. I've made brackets and everything for this. So it's not bolted down snug, but it is in there. And also went ahead and mounted the OEM level sender unit as well in the tank. So the standard dash will work with this level sender as well. And then obviously pretty much what we said before, the battery will sit here, so I will take this out anyway and do that. But for the meantime, essentially for the purposes of this video anyway, that's in there, because today we're going to do the fuel system, get that mounted up, and then I'm also going to start fabbing up the exhaust, and hopefully going to start fabbing up intercooler pipes as well. That's the plan for this video. And fuel system side of things, let's get rid of this box. AM 400 inline pump, fuel filter, some relays, and we've got some connectors as well, some DTP connectors. So there's our filter, there's the AM 400 inline pump. Let's get rid of these, and we've got all of our fittings and everything that we need here. And I also need to grab the rest of the stuff that we have here as well. Don't worry about that. Fuel rail. Grab this, and this as well. Cool. Let me pop you down here for a second. Fuel pressure gauge. This is the Fuel Lab fuel pressure regulator. So a unit there with AN8 feed and return, and that's pretty much what we're going to fit onto this, is an AN8 feed and return system, and the fuel rail I believe is in here. I need to swap these fittings out to Orb 8 to AN8 fittings. These are only AN6, so we're going to get rid of them. We've got the fuel rail there. I've made this plate, which I will show you in a minute how that's going to sit. But we've got an AN10 to feed the pump, because the pump is an Orb 10 AN10 fitment, and then it's an AN8 out. And then we've converted this was a Orb 8 to AN6, but being that it takes an Orb 8, got an AN8 in there. This is also E85 compatible. So yeah, that's just going to be the feed to the pump, and then the rest of it is going to be AN8 to the front of the car and back to the tank. We've got a couple of adapters. They're also going to go from 8 to 10 to return back down. And let's go and lift up the car and see where we are. Okay, so fuel system, fuel tank there. So we're going to come out of there with our feed to the pump. Let's get rid of that. So it's going to come out there under here, and I've started making these brackets up, but essentially the pump filter is going to sit here. I've just dropped this down for a minute to give us some space, and then the lines are going to go to the front, well, to the back, to the back, and then back to the front after. I think in the last video there was no wheels or anything on it. I've gone ahead and finished everything at the front, fitted the wheels up, and that's all torqued up, done. The rear, there was a few things left, which I have now done as well. This is kind of what I was mentioning last time. If you remember, I had to torque these up and then put the little plates on with the C-clips, circlips, whatever, to secure them in place. So that's all done. Oil return is on as well, and obviously that's the underside of the turbo from there, and the big hole in the boot for the intercooler. So yeah, that's what we're going to do in this video. Also, I'm going to try and get the wiring done for the fans, and get the fans and the shroud on as well, and get that buttoned up. So essentially, I think once that's done and the fuel system is done, everything at the front is done, and everything underneath the vehicle would also be done. I'm just going to make sure I'm going to get the wiring that comes through the hole that you obviously saw inside the car, everything from there. I'm going to extend what I need for there for the level sender and the pump wiring as well. So then I can get it off and start working on the inside. So let's crack on, get this going. So as I mentioned earlier in the video, we was waiting on the intercooler to be done at the fabricators. Obviously it was a Speed Factory intercooler that we had. We were having a fan shroud made for, because obviously, as you know, it's in the back of the car, so we need something to pull some air through that intercooler. So we're on the way there to grab it now. We had a phone call yesterday saying it's ready to go, so we're going to run up there and grab that now. Should be there in about 30 minutes, so I will check in with you guys in a little bit. We're here at Bag Sport, picking up the intercooler. This is Ben. This is me. He's a mini boy, really. But if you need any mini work doing, this here is your guy for minis. Very cool car. Looks like our intercooler and shit's ready. But if you need fab work doing, here's your boy. Old school mini billet engine. That's cool as fuck. You might need a hand guiding him in. Anyway, he's pointing in the direction of the intercooler, which is here. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Twin fan set with the shroud. When I get back to the workshop, I'll pull that out and have a good look at it. That's done. Ignore that. That's something else he's doing for us. But yeah, if you need any kind of fab work doing, he is your guy. Bag Sport. Check him out. He's got a front clip for a mini here, which he's doing loads of fab work on. Custom made manifolds, radiator setups, everything and anything in between. Very cool little setup here. But most of it is fabrication work. He does some wiring work as well, but fab work is his main line of work. Yeah. So yeah, this is Bag Sport. Let's see, Bag Sport. All of his details are up there. So if you need anything, you know, he is a little bit out of the way down in near Guildford. But if you need anything doing with regards to fab work, custom radiators, custom intercoolers, manifolds, whatever else, yeah, we've got a lot of stuff coming up that we're doing with Ben, the owner. So what I will do is I will keep you guys updated once we've had all the bits and pieces done that we're working on in the background. I'll keep you guys updated. But for now, we're going to grab the intercooler and get out of here. Well, there it is, unboxed, and the fan shroud is looking sweet. It was CNC cut and folded with a pair of Comex 1400 CFM fans. They are gonna suck some air. Anyway, need to pull the exhaust out and then get the intercooler in there, start making brackets for it to mount it. This boost pipe is going to run down here and across to this side, and then this one I'm going to have to drill a hole somewhere around there. But once I've mounted it in, I can sort of see where, once I put the silicone elbow on, I can sort of see where it's going to end up, and then cut a hole for that, and pretty much kind of a shot down there and then into the throttle body. And so then that will be done, and then obviously that one, which you'll see, goes through there. I do think that I need to enlarge that hole a little bit more, but we'll see how we get on with that. I've got the fill pot neck thing, Dewberry was sit there, so then it's long enough for that to actually sit where it should sit. Coolant lines for the turbo, we're going to get them fitted up as well. And then we're also going to crack on and get the last of the heater matrix pipes done and connected up. Then we can actually fill it with some coolant. And I think we are almost there. The only other thing I need to do is make an air intake pipe that runs down there. And then I think we're almost there. I've also got to wire up the fans for the back with the relay. Gonna mount that somewhere up here. Yeah, anyway, so let's get that out, start getting the intercooler in and getting the brackets made so we can start cracking on with the boost pipes. Alrighty, well that's the boost pipes done. As you saw, I was just finishing off welding the boost pipes. So I think that's the end of the fab work done. Boost pipes done here. Also made a new filler neck as well. I wasn't overly happy with the one that we were supplied with, so just went ahead and made a new one. Let's show you the intercooler setup in here. Don't worry about that for a minute. I'm going to tidy that up. But it just comes through there. And same again with the hot side, and we decided to put the dump valve in there because, well, only one real reason really, because as you can see, the hole is quite tight around the boost pipe, and if I'd fitted the dump valve flange on there, then there was no way we were going to get the pipe in, and the pipe has to go in that way. I couldn't feed it in that way. And second reason is, why get rid of the cold side? We didn't get rid of the hot side, obviously for the less work for the intercooler to do. Exhaust pipe is done and in. Going to make a little trim to go around that. But yeah, the intercooler is in. The wiring is done. These fans are rowdy. I think they're like 1400 CFM. Let's turn them on and show you for a second. He says. Good. There we go. So yeah, boost pipe's done, everything's clamped up, intercooler's fitted up, made these braces for the intercooler, and I'll show you underneath. Basically like so. So yeah, that's under here done, and the idea was to try and obviously make these holes as small as possible, but without it actually touching when the engine is moving, purely because we want to try and keep as much hot air out of there as possible to give the intercooler half a chance of doing its job, being that we don't have any air going through it like this one, you know, as you're driving along, you know how it works. So yeah, turbo blanket by Funk, same with the wastegate blanket, that's all done. Done the heater matrix pipes. What else have we done? There's a few little bits that I've done, obviously off camera, fitting everything up, but it was just a case of just getting on with things and cracking on. But yeah, we've got a wastegate blanket. So everything is as heat protected as it can be. Again, everything by Funk. Where we at? The only thing I haven't done is the cam cover, but that's at the painters getting done. That will be a different color, so I will show you that later on. But we are nearly done with this. I'm going to finish off the wiring, get that side of things done, and get it fired up. But for now, we are done with the fab work on it. I don't think there's anything else that we need to do. See a fuel system, which you saw, and that's pretty much everything buttoned up at the front. We are still waiting on the battery, but that is what it is. Need to put the trim back on there. But yeah. Just trying to think. I don't think there's anything else. Is there anything else? No, that's pretty much fab work, which you saw done. Out the way. Also, oh yeah, fitted up the water lines for the turbo. Feed and return on the turbo done as well. Yeah, just need to finish off the wiring on the inside of the car, and then we are pretty much ready to rock and roll and get this thing fired up. So with that said, the next episode is going to be the wiring side of things. So stay tuned. That's going to essentially, I think, be when we do the first fire up on this car. And then after that, I think we're pretty much set for the dyno. The only thing I did forget to mention is, the only thing I haven't made is the intake pipe, which I think is just going to go all the way down here and try and get as much cold air as possible from there. Yeah, I think that's it. It's been a long slog getting everything done. But we are almost there. I've got a few hours of wiring left to do, and I can basically get this thing fired up. So hopefully you enjoyed that episode. If you did, then do the usual, hit like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Post a comment if there's anything else you want to see us put up, or if there's anything that you have any questions about on this particular build, then obviously by all means just drop a comment as well. So on that note, catch you later.